So Sunil, Prateek, Avtar, Mukul, thank you so much for taking out time on a Saturday morning for this interesting panel discussion. I'm so happy to have all of you here. Okay, so the topic is widely debated, discussed on various panels, various forums across the country, nothing new. But today we have gathered together to have your viewpoints. Okay. And you might have observed that you have been chosen primarily because of the diversity that you bring in. Okay, so one is from Hosur, one person is based in Gurgaon, and one is from Sitarganj. So diverse views from diverse locations, and that is going to add to the spice or the masala of the discussion. Right. Because if we have everybody from Gurgaon, then also it becomes boring. So that's why we have people from different locations. That's how a panel should be. So let's begin with today's discussion. So the topic is, about English being the medium of instruction in schools. So a lot of conflicting points. On one hand, we see so many local organizations and political organizations and even non-profits pushing that, the vernacular languages and the regional languages should be encouraged in schools. There has been a massive push to make vernacular mediums or regional languages mandatory, at least in the primary sections or few years in school. Okay, and we are all very proud about our native languages, mother tongue, and all that stuff, which is good. At the same time, we also see a parallel movement uh, globally and also within India, where corporates ask for excellent communication skills in English language. Okay, English being the medium of communication within our organizations, intra-organization, inter-organization, and especially in the world of multinationals where people are spread across the globe. Okay, we are saying English, English, and English. On one hand, we see vernacular language being encouraged and pushed. On the other hand, we want English everywhere. So where are we going? Where are we headed is what we want to discuss today. So the first point or the first question I put up to Mr. Avtar Singh about why is our country, especially the urban elite, obsessed with English language? We are all very obsessed, right?
That one language that you in a corridor of life, in a corridor for life, and two language open every door along the way. So the question is why our country, especially urban elite, obsessed with the English. So our company, especially the urban elite, obsessed with the English because they are visualizing, in my view, they are visualizing the progress of future in India, which can be possible with English language only. So English is considered everywhere is a respectful language, and the person who is well versed with the English, those are considered as a very polite and very intelligent, we can say, and the thinking about the person, the perception about those person is going towards in the favor of that person. So other thing we can say this: the English language is considered everywhere as a respectful language, and there are obsessed because they think knowing English, understanding English, and speaking English very fluently make the good impression, and those person are considered as an intelligent person. So, and our urban elite is mostly we can say mostly thoughtful, or they are thinking beyond the limits. So they are more obsessed for the English language. And secondly, English is a widely speaking language all over the world. And earlier English was we were considering that English as a foreign language, but nowadays it become a common language for each and everyone.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, our India is having 29 states and only one language that can unite all the states together. So one can communicate with the English because I am from the Punjab and my schooling was done with the Punjabi medium, and now I am working in Hosur and I am facing the challenge with in terms of communication. So English is very helpful for me to communicate better with the native language people.
Fantastic.
So
You
this is
made
my point.
two interesting points which I picked up from your conversation. One, you said when a person speaks in English in India, he or she is considered polite and intelligent. So people are considered intelligent when they are fluent in English. Okay, which could be a perception. Yes, definitely. And you also said English is the only language which can unite 29 states of India. So I want to take these 2 points to Pratik and ask him, does he agree that, people who speak fluently in English, are they considered polite, intelligent? And is English the only language that can unite the entire India, north to south, east to west? What are your views?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak in this panel. I'm not agree with Avtar actually. The point is that there are several people in India who are not speaking in English, having are intelligent enough, and they perform in an international also. I remember an interview of Neeraj Chopra recently. I have seen an interview when the reporter asked a question in English. He said that, "Can you speak Hindi?" So that's the attitude that have that will help us to understand that English is not a compulsory language to speak in India as well. If you have a talent, that's enough. But English will help us to grow at a larger level. It will give us opportunity to grow at international scale also. So I will put some data. I have some data to become this. What English can contribute. That the data is that 94% research papers are printed in English language only. To understand English, to communicate English will help us to grow at international scale. I already speak that word. The second was India have a 33rd rank in world education system. UK at top because they have a English as a language, English as a universal language as a business language also. So they help us to understand the international scale also.
Okay, fantastic. So Pratik, you made two important points, two takeaways for me. One, you said to grow internationally or take up global positions, English is going to help us. Okay, that is one key point. And second point, you said most of the research papers internationally are published in English language. Okay, so I'm going to take these 2 points and go to Sunil now, and I'm going to ask him, why not have research papers in Hindi? Why should we do it everything in English?
In my opinion, I agree with Avatar. Actually, English, it is basically, especially for the urban elite, uh, English language is a worldwide language, and if you want to success and want to growth, then you have to good knowledge about the English. So main point is it has made a status symbol. So whenever we want to go anywhere and we see lot of people are communicating with English language, then we feel that they are very maybe rich or maybe educated, and they are communicating with very fluently. So it is a symbol which prove us that we are educated, or we can we are different from others. And the second one point is, if you want to go anywhere for higher education or higher study, then everything is available in English language, because it is a worldwide language. Every country, every people are speaking in English. Also, if we come to newspaper or some novels, then every publisher are publishing their thoughts, their research in same language. Because if they are publishing novels or some newspaper, some research in Hindi language, then it is only applicable for these cities where we use only Hindi language. But if they are using, they are uh, publishing in English language, it means everyone can read, everyone can understand. So this is my point on this topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question still remains unanswered, but I'm going to take it to Mukul now. Okay, so Sunil says it is English is a status symbol. Okay, we differentiate amongst others within India. So some people don't speak English, some people speak English. So those who speak English are perceived again to be more intelligent and educated. And he says that for career growth also English is required. So at a global level, my question to you, Mukul, is if we had promoted vernacular languages or Hindi language, would we have not succeeded as we have succeeded now by adopting English? What is your viewpoint?
So, first of all, I would like to emphasize that there is only 35% of the population in India which is constituted under urban, which is constituted as urban population amongst the around 130 crores of population in India. So Hindi is obviously the one of the most spoken language in India, which it is one of the top language after Bengali and Marathi. But there are certain opportunities for people who are well versed and well fluent in English while speaking and writing English, so that they can explore opportunities outside India and within India. But but that doesn't depends that if a person speaks English, he would be considered as rich or intelligent. Matlab, I do not agree with that, because there are certain people, there are certain persons from various classes who are not well versed with English but are more rich and considered to be as more intelligent, right? I understand that there are certain publications, be it newspapers, novels, research papers, which are primarily done in English, but that can also be available in other languages or some vernacular languages in of other states also.
All right. So I get your point. So Mukul, you say that you do not agree with others. You say success has got nothing to do with fluency in English language. So that's a very solid point. Okay, I'm going to take this point and go to our next discussion. Again, back to Avtar Singh. So Avtar, tell me, let's look at examples of China, Russia, all major countries, okay, who have not adopted English as their primary language within their schools and colleges and universities, and yet have done well globally. Do you think it would have made a damn difference to our success if we had not adopted English? Are we over obsessed with English?
No, actually, it is not like that because we all know the population of China is number one, or is at number one. So after English, we can say the most spoken language is standard Chinese in China. So almost and if we are saying that the native speaker basis, on the basis of native speaker, so Mandarin or this standard Chinese is the world's first language which is most spoken language. So this language is dominating to the country also. So most of the people are adopting their native languages. If we consider that countries like China, Russia, France, and Germany, all the countries are well developed. So they are hardly facing any challenges in there. But in research, it has been shown that the China is producing good quality of scientists. But once they are trying to go abroad to further study, they feel challenge due to the English. So to keeping that challenges in the mind, China introduced the English as a second language there also. From I guess 1978, it may be somewhere from there. So they have started. They are starting gradually becoming the dominant of foreign language in China. So on the other hand, if we say about Russia, so Russia is also a big country and a well-developed country, and they are mostly using their native language, but they are not using their only their native language, but they are emphasizing to learn 2, 3, 4 or many languages and multiple language they are teaching to their children from you can say from nursery. They are starting to get them educated according to that. So they are emphasizing the if a person learn more language, more foreign language, that would be the plus point for their progress also. So these countries are dominant country and they are dominating to the world also. If we are considering the country like Germany and France, so in the European Union, I guess this Germany and France, Germany and French is the most spoken language in European Union. So almost 44% are using English there, and the major contribution of this German is around 32%, and our French speaking person are around 25 or 26% are there. So it is hardly they are impacting to the life of their children, of their citizens, and they are not face any impediment in their life and business because of their native language.
Okay. So Pratik, would you like to add something to what Avatar said?
Avatar rightly said that these countries are dominating countries. They have a well-established economies. So they are not traveling to abroad as Indians traveling to abroad. As you can see, the most of the Indians are doing brain drain in US, UK, Canada. So they need more requirement of English as others countries had. So the to in India, English as a considered as a international language, and it is to use for the training purpose also. So, as Avatar said, that these countries have having a good economy in that respect, so they don't need to go to other countries to learn. They have a good economy, they have a good system in place, so they are a dominating country. That's all.
Okay. So yes, Avatar did say that these are all developed economies and it is good to have English as an additional language to know. Whereas maybe for Indians, it is more like a necessity is what is my conclusion from this. So Sunil and Mukul, both of you, I pose this question. Do you agree with Avatar and Pratik's points that for them it is a good to have, but for us it is a necessity to know English? Is it like that?
Yeah, in my view, I agree with this point. Actually, they are yes, they are a developed country, and I would like to add one more point. Uh, their education system is very good. They have linked and build education system to direct to employment. So if any student has completed their education, then they easily get the job. But in our country, we have to learn additional and also additional study for getting the job. So their education point also considering.
Okay. So what does quality of education have to do with the language?
So actually, they are established country, so they don't need to go anywhere, any other country for employment. They are just using their policy and getting job at the and doing their business. But if we compare in other countries, then they people are going outside out of the country for getting the job. And if we build some education system so that if we have completed our job, our education, then we can just basically, according to me, there will be some uh, education system like that, if someone has completed that types of education or study, then he or she will be eligible for these types of education. But we have to learn something additional, like if we are doing graduation and we have completed with a great percentage, then we have to learn additional like computer course or some additional courses. So this is the gap between the undevelopment and the developed countries.
Okay, I hear you and I get these points. So I'm going to take these points now to Mukul. So Mukul, what Sunil says is, employment opportunities are very huge in these countries. I'm not sure, I have not checked the facts, but according to me and to the best of my knowledge, US and China are large economies with the employment opportunities. Outside these two economies, India is one of the biggest markets for jobs, right? And our cities like Mumbai, Bangalore have more jobs than any of these European countries, many places, if you compare. So do you think, is that a mindset issue or is it really language impediment? What is your opinion?
So, as I would just go back to what Avtar said. So Avtar and Pratik discussed. So there are definitely, if we talk about the large countries like China and Russia and US, they are well developed and developed economies, well proficient and well equipped with many skill sets and many products and many skill inventories. But the point they are equipped, but they need a marketplace, and world is a marketplace for every country, because whatever they are producing, whatever they are manufacturing, and whatever they are providing as a service to the others, that needs some customer, and that customer could not be within the country itself. That the customer could be sitting anywhere in the market.
So I think from all of your points, the point I can conclude is that English is a good to have language if we want to think beyond borders, expand opportunities, look at global business opportunities, or even career opportunities. Am I right? So this is what more or less all of you are telling me. Okay. So just moving to the next question. My next question is, had we uh, made vernacular language mandatory in school, okay, instead of English, would there have been a difference in the way we were educated? Would our IQ levels have been a little different? Would have our career opportunities been a little different? What do you think?
Learning vernacular language is uh, vernacular, you can say vernacular medium or a medium of instructions uh, is always good for the uh, for uh, for the student, because if they doesn't study their mother tongue at the school level, the opportunity of studying their own language in the future is very limited. So according to the education policy 2020 of India, it is also emphasized that the medium of instruction should be regional language in first stage, you can say primary stage of education. So it would be beneficial uh, for the sake of regional language, if we are really concerned to preserve our culture or preserve our language or regional language. So we have to go with the vernacular medium. On the other hand, the responsibility of parents has increased, because most of the country is using English medium schools as of now, and even the newcomers or new students, they are not recognizing uh, the vernacular language. So if we talk about the counting, so they are not recognizing what we said in the Hindi. Like if we are saying 7 17, so they will not understand what is 17. So they will come again. What you said? Okay, tell me in the English. So like that. So the vernacular language, vernacular medium is of instruction is very important to groom a child in very young stage. On the other hand, English being a global language, and one can acquire the soundness in the English anytime, anywhere, provided that that person should have the interest and love to learn the other language. So there are lots of opportunities are available to learn English grammatically at many places. So because if you say that undoubtedly English is the most preferred medium of instruction, including the Hindi and well respected languages in the state. So in my view, that vernacular medium is also important. It's equally important as compared to the English, we can say.
So rephrasing my question, Avtar, to Pratik. So my question is originally, now let's say you have a child who is studying in vernacular medium, okay, and he reaches a certain level of capability in a couple of years. If the same child was put in another medium, let's say English medium, okay, English versus vernacular, how do you think the capability development would have been? How do you compare it? Would it have been better in English or in vernacular?
English, English language plays an essential role in our lives. That is help in communication to many places, just in school, offices as well. It's a main language for studying any subject all over the world. My child is studying English medium, and I studied in Hindi medium. So I found a difference that. What is the difference in that? That means that the communication always help us in English, help us to improve, to express our emotions, broaden our mindset also. There are several benefits of
Did
it.
did it impact your IQ? So instead of vernacular, if you had been in English medium, would you have had a different level of intelligence or altogether?
Not really, but it can help us to improve our IQ level and other ways.
So you're
There are
saying
several.
instead of vernacular, if we study in English medium, our IQ levels can be higher. So that's the point.
Can be higher. Can be higher.
Can be. Okay. Does anybody agree,
Yes.
Mukul or Sunil? Do you agree that IQ levels can be higher if you study in English medium?
I don't think so. I do not agree.
No. I don't agree with Pratik. IQ level is not the depend on languages. So it depends according to human mind. So we are, if I am giving my example, I also did my schooling in Hindi medium, and my child is studying in English medium, but they don't know the basic culture things which I know, because we are observing all the things in the like a ground level. So we know about the what is the benefit of flying the kite. They don't know. We are using a lot. Basically, we were losing lot of outdoor activity, but they are just playing on phone. So these are the culture has is established if we are using English medium or some other schools.
Okay. So now you are taking it to a different direction that about culture. So people studying in English medium do not have that much cultural awareness as compared to people studying in vernacular medium. Is that right?
Yeah, actually, we have some Indian culture they don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all
I
people who are
would like to
studying.
add something. I would
Sure,
like to add
please,
something.
please
Yeah,
go ahead.
according to our National Education Policy 2020, the government says that primary school should be in the regional language. Post fifth standard, the English will be considered as a medium of instruction. The government also pushing in that field. So that is the necessity of it today.
Okay. But will that create some
So
kind of an issue in
I would like
personality
to.
development? Yeah, Avtar, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to add in this. If a person studying in the English medium school and simultaneously the medium of instruction should be the vernacular in my point of view, and they can learn English as an additional foreign language in initial stage, I can say. See, my children they are already they are also studying in the English medium school, but to preserve our culture, to preserve our language, mother tongue. So I am providing them the extra classes of our regional language also, so that they can easily read out the books published in our local or our mother tongue that is published. They can read easily and they can understand that too. So this is my point of view that only I have.
Okay, so I'm going to club your point and Pratik's point. So Pratik said, as per education policy NEP, the medium of instruction, at least in the initial year, should be in the vernacular language and then move on to English. And Avtar, you said that English can be an additional language instead of being the primary language. So it's a good to know, good to have kind of a skill set instead of being the primary medium of instruction. Is my understanding correct, Avtar?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so now my question, this is my last question and open question to all four of you. One by one, you can answer. Uh, Having such kind of an arrangement where you studying in vernacular medium for the initial few years and then move on to English, point one, or English being an additional optional subject, good to have, just like you learn French or German or Sanskrit in school, so you keep it optional. Will that have an impact on the child's personality development in the long run? Do we see people who do not command that fluency in English feeling inferior in front of others? Is that going to have an impact on the personality in future? What are your viewpoints on this? Anybody? Mukul, Anil, Sunil, Avtar, Pratik, anyone can start and others can add on.
So,
So
I would like
communication
to.
skill.
Yeah.
Mukul, you want to
Avtar.
start off? Please
Yeah.
go ahead.
So English is something which is essential for giving your message to someone. It's a medium of communication basically. So personality development consists of ample of there are many things which contributes to the personality development of any human being. And there are certain other skill set like their how they speak, how they present their how they dress up, and how they understand others, how is their observation, what is their viewpoint to the various issues on which various issues in place. So that's a very broader term. If we compare in communicating speaking English or adopting English as a language in schools to the personality development of the people of the person.
Solid points, Mukul. So you said there are different factors affecting personality, not just language. Uh, the way people speak, the way they dress up, the way they present themselves, empathy, how they understand others, and the kind of opinions that they have about social issues. Fantastic points. Anybody else? Avtar, would you like to add?
I completely echo with Mukul, but
I
he
would
said
like to
that. Appa, you want to speak? Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Pratik.
See,
Yeah.
it's a communication. Actually, if we are considering the personality point of view, the communication skill is essential part of any profession. In spite of having intense knowledge of the subject, one cannot communicate or convey the message or information properly to the receiver. So English symbolizes in Indian mind better education, you can say better culture and high intellect. So student of the rural area they do not realize the importance of English as a language of if you can say as a language of communication, whereas this is the most important aspect of the global language. So the lack of confidence in speak English expression and language is a identity. So if you can say if a person even after reading English 14, 15 years and more time, so they may not be so fluent or they remain poor in their commands also. So the truth that the teaching English in India is still a great extent the examination oriented language we can say. So therefore, vernacular medium students suffer from the syndrome that does not allow them to perform well in higher education courses. So if you can say that personality point of view, English definitely improves the personality of a student, of a person, because they are ready to take the challenges. They are ready to adopt the culture. We can say if they are traveling to in my case, I have traveled from Punjab to Hosur, this Tamil Nadu. There is a huge difference in culture. So if a person is well versed with the English language, he can cope up with the environment and he can survive according to the environment. So this is definitely English medium is definitely help the children to groom their personality. So this is my point.
Pratik, go ahead now.
Yeah, as Avtar said, there is a perception in the market that if person is speaking, communicating in English, it is well rich and that it's a symbol of personality. But we need to understand that the most of the population of India are living in villages and the rural cities. To understand that also that if the person if not speaking English, he should not understand that he is not a well uh, educated person. There is a perception in the market that if the person is speaking English, it's a symbol of personality only.
Sure. Okay, so we have discussed a couple of interesting things. I'm going to summarize these points quickly. So first we said English is considered a language of the intellectuals. So people who speak fluently in English are considered intellectual, educated in India. Okay, that's the point that some of us made in today's discussion. English is also one of or the key language in India that unites 29 states is one more point that we made. English helps us to grow professionally, globally, and look at career opportunities that exist worldwide. It is also the language that helps us explore business opportunities. English is also one of the key language that is used in majority of the research papers. And that's why it is imperative that we know English so that we can contribute to these intellectual journals in our own way. Some of us made a statement that English is considered as a status symbol in India. So when you speak very fluent English, it's a status symbol. So you're considered from a different class altogether. Okay, I'm not sure about could be. Okay, and then some of us made a point that the degree of success does not depend on English language. So some of us disagreed on that also about success part. So success is not equivalent to knowing English. Then finally, we spoke about the national education policy, where we discussed about medium of instruction being in vernacular languages at the initial stages, at least, and it has no impact on the personality whatsoever, because personality it depends on different factors, which can be the way you dress up, the way you collaborate with people, empathize with people, and about your understanding of various social issues, your opinions about these issues. So all these things define a personality, and it is not just the language. But having said that, English is definitely necessary for our own growth to make a mark in the global stage and ensure that we start dominating in the world stage. For that, English is definitely required. Okay, we are not saying that English is not required, but at the same time, we are also not saying that we are totally dependent on English for our success in life.